on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So today is Sunday. Hope you're having a great weekend wherever you're at. If we have a look at what's going on in the charts, we are seeing a typical weekend, very mild red across the board in a lot of the top coins, including Bitcoin as well. We do know, though, sometimes we get those Sunday night, Monday morning surprises when the East wakes up, right? So what are they going to do? Well, we're going to have a look at that. I also want to talk about why this $8,000 level is actually so significant, more than I had even realized. And I also want to talk about the fact that if we were to potentially hit a $10,000 Bitcoin, why $20,000 and even $40,000 is actually a lot easier to hit than you may think. So we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about it. We're not going to just, we're not saying we're going to the moon. There's always a chance of a pullback. We're going to talk about that as well. But if that sounds good to you, you guys know what to do. Also, if it's your first time checking out the Crypto Zombie channel and you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? We do this every day. Also, don't forget today is the last day for the Ledger Nano X giveaway tomorrow. All you got to do is drop a comment on literally any video throughout the course of the entire week, and you are eligible. Now, let's give it a quick refresh live. Let's see what's going on. So we are down another $1 billion since this morning. Bitcoin dominance is not budging. It is staying at 55.5%. Bitcoin around $7,854. If we look at some of the big gainers on the front page, we do have GX Chain up 20%, Matic Network up 12%, Hypercash, Project Pi, Augur, Ravencoin, Theta Fuel, Theta, ARK, and Hedge Trade. So we do have some altcoins doing well today. Not that many of them, some of them putting in very minor gains, a lot of them in the red, but we do have some gainers today. Obviously, you guys know how I feel about Matic, but let's have a look also. The other thing I want to point out is if we look at the Bitcoin, you'll notice here on CoinMarketCap, they're calling for $15 billion, but if we come over here to On-Chain FX, you notice that we're actually only at around $377 million in Bitcoin real 24-hour volume, which is pretty damn low. In fact, that's the lowest we've seen it in quite some time. So if we do have this sideways coiling pattern and Bitcoin does continue to have lower volume, then you are looking at potentially explosive moves. We'll keep our eye on it. Right now we currently are below. We're actually inside of the EMA ribbon right now, and this is on the on the daily chart. So as you can see, you don't really want to go. You don't really want to go below it because that definitely puts you in bearish territory. So hopefully we can get back above that short term. That's something that I just wanted to point out. But if we do zoom in right here, it's actually insane how the 200 moving average. Now this is on the 4-hour. Keep in mind, we're obviously clearly above it on the macro, but it's still holding, as you can see right here. So, we're right on that level, guys. We're keeping our eyes on it, but it's definitely one of those moments where right now, if you were to ask me, what should I do, K-Dub? If you're currently in a position, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I am not making any massive trades right now. I'm not doing anything, crazy outside of just, the usual dollar cost average. Buy a little bit of Bitcoin every week, buy some high, buy some low. That's always been a great strategy. But as far as like putting in a long or a short or doing anything major right now, currently, I'm just waiting to see if Bitcoin is going to be able to break above this $8,260 level, or if we're going to fall into this blue zone and come all the way down. I don't know if we'll go down that low, but even if you still are talking about potentially closing that CME futures gap, then you could still see Bitcoin at least touching $7,200. Possibly. I'm not saying that it will happen. We still have this support here at the $7,400 level, which is why currently, if we continue to bounce around in this area, I'm not really doing anything right now. But I do want to point out that we have this sort of, I don't know what the significance of June 15th, June 16th is, but on every single chart, if you check out yesterday's video, no matter how wherever you want to draw your lines on the chart, you always end up coming to this sort of point right here around June 15th and June 16th. Now, I do know from experience that Bitcoin tends to not wait till the end, okay? It usually bursts out or has a breakout or a breakdown a little bit sooner. So I would imagine that Bitcoin is going to be making a very massive move very soon. Currently right now, I don't know if we're at that point just yet. We may still come down and retest this. We could come down to around 7,600 and then bounce back up to around 8,100 until we get to the end. That is a possibility, okay? And if you do want to look at the 1 hour, clearly we were forming a wedge right here. We got to the end, we fell, and we're looking to probably catch on this resistance right here. So, you might see a $7,700 Bitcoin. Well, what is it right now, actually? It is 7,760. So you can see, yeah, we're still falling. So we may test this. We're going to keep our eyes on that. And I've gone over all of our different levels if we were to go lower, okay? So that is what I wanted to talk about. Now, for some people out there, you want to be realistic about it. You want to talk about a potential bearish scenario. Well, I want to point out the NVT price, and I want to talk about what Willy Woo was saying. Now, you know he is a very respected analyst in the space. I do respect the guy. And he was talking about this right here. And you could see what he's pointed out. And he said that presently the market price of Bitcoin has outstripped organic investor flow unseen since the bull market mania phase of 2013 and 2017. He said, never before have we seen such a divergence so early in the bull market. He's a little freaked out by this. He says, if you have sufficient capital, you can keep buying to liquidate the bears. It is profitable. However, he says, we do need to keep an eye on it. He says, I'm waiting. I'm awaiting this exchange-driven pump to blow off. Now, he's saying this is driven by the exchanges, right? This ties back into the Tether and the Binance and all that stuff. They're pumping up the prices, right? So he says, only then do I think real investor flow will come in and drive the true organic bull market. So he's saying that this is basically a blow-off top, and we're going to see some form of a retracement, okay? But I do want to just point out one thing, and I'm not saying that he's wrong. I'm not saying that there's not things that are going on in the background, conspiracies, Tether, manipulating price. I'm not saying that, but I am saying that you can look at data from SimilarWeb and it shows that Binance, okay, is not only one of the top 1,000 websites in the world, it is basically the number one when it comes to crypto. It had over 42 million visits in just May alone. Those are actual unique people visiting and trading. So you can talk about price manipulation. I agree. I understand, but you can't deny the fact that even Coinbase had 35 million visits as well. These are real people that are going to the websites that are trading. And it says, most importantly, money is flooding into the exchanges as many of these visits were materialized in trades. Obviously, you go to Binance to trade. You don't just go to Binance to look at the charts. I mean, some people might, but I would assume if you're going there, you're probably trading, right? And you could see that materialized trades were 5.9 billion in May alone. For example, they say on May 16th, volume on Coinbase hit a 14th month high with over 47,400 Bitcoin, roughly $373 million traded. So I understand the point of, we had this blow off top. It's unnatural. It's not an organic pump. I kind of agree with that actually, but I did want to point that out as well. But the interesting thing is, even if we do come over to Woodbull charts, there is a very strange correlation between what happened just before the bull run that we had in 2017 and what we're currently having right now. And I want to show you this pretty crazy similarity if you do look at this chart. Look at this right here. Can you guys see the fractal, almost the pattern? Look at this, right? So we had this this bottom, then we had a lower bottom, then a peak, and then we had sort of the same exact pattern, and then we literally just blew off, right? Well, look at what we're having right now. I mean, literally, it's almost the same exact thing, right? So we came down, right? We came down here. I don't know if you guys could see, we had this little double bottom, a lower bottom. We came up, plateaued. Now we're having the first dip, right? Which would basically be like this first dip here. And then we would have this second dip. And that looks like that's what we're basically in right now. So if this was to follow the same pattern and we were to zoom out, that would literally put us in the accumulation phase of the beginning of the next bull cycle. So that is still a positive thing. So even if we were to fall down to $6,400, it still keeps us in bullish territory, okay? So that's something that I wanted to point out. And I wanted to talk about the Binance podcast that they had with Tom Lee. And he was talking about an interesting statistic that I wasn't even aware of about why the $8,000 level is so significant. And also, he mentions why if we were to go to 10K, why 20K and 40K would actually be really easily attainable. So obviously there's no video, but I'm just going to play this for you guys real quick right now.
At the end of the day, Wall Street, if there's a known asset class and they believe they can have an edge, they're going to be quite interested in investing in it because, Wall Street has the ability to marshal a lot of resources to develop either a fundamental edge or trading expertise and make money. So you're absolutely right. At the right tipping point, and it's either going to be because the size of the blockchain or the size of the crypto market itself, Wall Street's going to suddenly say, hey, look, I don't care if I understand exactly what's happening, but if I can make a lot of money, let's go ahead and do it. Because, that's the story of credit default swaps. Credit default swaps was originally just a spreadsheet on Excel, and it was a gambling bet, And now more CDS is traded than cash bonds. But what's really going to get Wall Street interested is really Bitcoin And I think Bitcoin really is sort of central to the case. Bitcoin has to make people believe that it can achieve all-time highs because no other blockchain can survive without Bitcoin prospering. And so, we published a piece in it, and I'll make sure I send you a copy that says, hey, what's a way to quantify Wall Street FOMO? And the reason it matters is, when Bitcoin fell 85% last year, Wall Street basically said, hey, Bitcoin's broken and it's going to zero. And they have good reason for that because 80% of stocks that fall 90% never recover. So in their minds, the probability of Bitcoin going to zero was essentially 80% because it had already fallen 80%. But now that Bitcoin's back to 8,000, that represents, and close to 9,000, it's only traded at this level 5% of the days in its entire history. In other words, it's at a level that very few people have lost money owning Bitcoin here. And we set another threshold. We said, listen, FOMO really occurs when the price achieves a level that's only happened 3% of the time. So in past cycles, that level was $8.50 in 2011. Today, that number is 10,000 because Bitcoin's prior to today has only traded above 10,000 87 days. So if you think about in its 10-year history, there's only less than 87 days where Bitcoin's been below 10,000. So we said, look, once it achieves this level, every institution is going to realize, look, at 10, it's likely to go back to its all-time high, which is a double. Mm-hmm. There's very few things that can double. So I think FOMO truly gets triggered once Bitcoin hits 10,000.
So going from 10 to 20 is going to be fast and furious then.
Correct. In fact, we wrote about this like that. If you look at past cycles, when you get to that 3% threshold, the typical surge in the next 5 months is 200 to 400%. So if Bitcoin somehow manages to get to 10, it's very likely going to make a run to 40,000 within 5 months.
So if Bitcoin was to hit $10,000, Tom Lee is saying we could potentially see a $40,000 Bitcoin within 5 months. Some of the reasoning being the fact that at this $8,000 level, not many people in the past have lost money. We've only been here at around 5%. And like he said, Bitcoin had only been above $10,000 for 87 days out of its 10-year history. And he said also the important thing that I think we should stress, he said at the beginning, is the fact that investors at some point aren't going to care. They don't need to understand Bitcoin. They're just going to say, you know what? This is in a confirmed uptrend. This thing has a potential chance to double. I'm going in, right? So that is massive. Let me know, guys. We talked about yesterday the potential of a double bubble. We could go to 100K, 50K by the end of this month. But realistically speaking, he's just saying if we were to hit 10K within 5 months, he does believe we could have a $40,000 Bitcoin. So let me know what you think about that below. We also have Think Market's chief market analyst, Naheem Islam. He has concluded that June will be a phenomenal month for Bitcoin. Now, historically, May has been the best performing month for Bitcoin. We actually had a great May again this year, so that is playing on par, up 62%. But basically, he explained that Bitcoin's strong monthly performance is to be expected. It's a little bit technical, as the 5-year average trailing percentage gain is 21.03%, and it is trailing high for the same time span at around 70.86%. You guys got that? Okay, good. These stats alone are reassuring enough for Bitcoin bulls to cast the worry aside. He also said that he's of the opinion that Bitcoin can rise to around $10,712 over the next 2 weeks due to its current market structure. And he also mentions the upcoming Facebook GlobalCoin cryptocurrency, which is interesting. I don't really understand his logic, but I guess giving more exposure, more credibility to the space. We're going to get into that in just a second. Actually, I do want to talk about Facebook's GlobalCoin, but did you guys see this? Check this out. Just kind of a funny little video just to kind of break up. But apparently, there's this Bitcoin ATM on Bond Street, wherever that is, that was spitting out fiat, just spitting it out. Look, watch. Yeah, so it's pretty bad when even the Bitcoin ATM doesn't want that dirty, dirty fiat. So, interesting. So, Sarah over here says, this morning I drove 114 miles to my closest bank, then I don't know what's going on right now. Alessio Rastani is playing. What is this? Here's exactly when I'm buying Bitcoin. Oh no, this video sounds very interesting. I can't believe that just auto-played. That's hilarious. Well, I'll have to check this out then. So this morning I drove 114 miles to my closest bank, then 114 miles back, just so I could get a new debit card and make a loan payment due today so it wouldn't be late and mess up my credit even more. First of all, who lives 114 miles from the nearest bank? I have like 5 banks, like literally, I could see the banks. I could see them. So that's crazy, but another reason why you should buy Bitcoin and short the banks. Now, here's a little bit of a controversial topic I want to bring up, and I'm not doing this. This isn't coming from me. I want to ask the community, what do you think about this? Because Charlie Strum said, Facebook is launching their global crypto coin, Libra. What's interesting is that they are offering companies to pay $10 million to become validators. If anything, it renders Ripple useless. The first companies to create a Libra Bitcoin exchange will make a killing. And Max Kaiser also chimed in and said the Facebook global stablecoin, Facecoin, or whatever, obviates needs for hundreds of altcoins, including XRP. The altcoin apocalypse is nigh. This will drive Bitcoin higher as Bitcoin competes with gold, not fiat. Also, crypto payment companies likely to be wiped out. So what are your thoughts? I mean, guys, you even have things like Ampleforth coming out, which actually I'm going to be looking into this probably either tomorrow or Tuesday. Although it's not really a stable coin, it's Ample's. It's an interesting concept. If you have any questions, drop them below because I have a lot of questions about this as well. But getting back to what I was saying, do you think that this is actually a potential threat to XRP? I'm asking you guys honestly. I mean, do you think, XRP was really trying to be that, global remittance payment, right? The be all end all. But if Facebook coin ends up having that, sort of network effect faster because of all the Facebook users currently, do you think that that would be a problem? Do you think that that would be a massive competitor to XRP? Personally, I think they're very different. I'm pretty sure that the Facebook coin, GlobalCoin, they're going to be tracking everything. It's going to be totally centralized. Ripple is obviously, as you guys know, arguably some people say it's centralized, some people say it's not. The XRP ledger, XRP tokens, or coins, whatever, they are essentially decentralized, but the company itself is not. So we could go on that topic. I'm not here to talk about whether or not it's centralized. I want to ask you, do you think that Facebook's GlobalCoin could potentially give XRP a run for its money? Let me know. What do you think? I'm curious. I don't think it will, but I don't know. It could. Let me know, guys. Moving on, I also wanted to talk about the limited edition sterling silver Litecoin cufflinks. Look at these guys. Litecoin Foundation, man. I'll tell you what, those guys, they know how to do some marketing. You got to give them that. Also, 1 day to go for Zilliqa. So tomorrow, Zilliqa will finally have smart contracts enabled. Pretty excited about this. In fact, they had a recent interview. They were talking to him about scalability. They asked him about Visa. A lot of people like to compare these, blockchains to Visa. Can you scale at the rate that Visa can? Well, they say because of the way that they design their protocol, the more networks size you add, the higher the throughput rate. So, they say that, yeah, this would be a really good thing, and they would have to basically double their size to be able to compete with things like Visa. But they say that it's absolutely possible within the next 12 to 18 months. So within 12 to 18 months, Zilliqa says that they could potentially be on par with just a perfect Visa competitor. They also say we see a future with Bolt because they were asking them about the whole Binance chain thing. Like, well, what about the fact that you saw Bolt move over to Binance chain? Well, the interesting thing is that Binance doesn't offer smart contracts. So even if you migrate to the Binance chain, you would still need to utilize another blockchain for your smart contracts, which is why you're seeing things like Zilliqa and potentially even Harmony, right? They might still have a place to play because of the fact that they need some, a blockchain to utilize for smart contracts. So I just wanted to point that out real quick before we move on. Also, according to recent reports, the Australian Taxation Office is working on 12 tax evasion cases, which involves the abuse of crypto assets. Will Day, the deputy commissioner of the agency, has made it known that at least one of the cases involve a global financial institution which allegedly hid assets and income details of taxpayers. Now, guys, I know it's a cryptocurrency channel, and I know that we hate the bankers, but you do have to pay your taxes, especially if you live in a country like the U.S. You have to pay taxes, guys. I'm not a fan of it. I do believe that taxation is theft to a certain degree, but I also do think that, you have to pay your taxes, man. You have to. It's the law. What do you want to do? So that being said, I thought this was really funny just to end it on this. Look, there goes Williams again, trying to win support for his how to short Bitcoin trading theory. Yeah, kind of reminds me of that. You know what? I'm not even gonna go into it. There's a guy on YouTube that's like absolutely convinced that we're going down to like $2,000, and he just constantly puts out these videos saying it's a suckers rally. Okay, it's a suckers rally, bro, but we've gone up from 3.1 to 9. So if it was a suckers rally, a lot of people made a lot of money in this suckers rally, and we're still there. So you could sell now, and you would still have made a lot of money. So anyone's saying we have to still go down to 2K, yeah, I don't think so. I don't think Bitcoin is going to see 2K ever again. Just my opinion. But that being said, thank you so much for coming back to the channel. You guys rock. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Everyone that's been liking, subscribing, commenting. Also, for everyone that's been supporting the channel by using the affiliate links, the referral links below. I have Ledger Nanos. We have Bybit Exchange. That's my favorite exchange for leverage trading. If you haven't downloaded the Brave browser yet, for an ad-free experience, definitely check that out. But obviously, guys, I don't expect anything of you. Just stopping by, checking out the video, saying hello. That's enough for me. Thank you so much once again for stopping by on this Sunday. Let's have a look at Bitcoin. What's it doing? What is Bitcoin doing? Oh, look at that, guys. Looks like it's giving the 200 a run for its money. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. So we're gonna probably find out what's gonna happen. Like I said, once the East wakes up, we're gonna have some kind of a movement. So probably by the time you guys wake up tomorrow morning, if you're in the U.S., we're gonna see something. Maybe even by tonight. So that being said, thank you so much for coming back to the channel. My name's K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. Until next time, stay crypto. If you want the ledger, you know what to do. And peace out.